Hey, Salman here. Hope you're doing well. So in this first video, we will be starting with the UI of Zbrush. We will also talk about how you can navigate through your scene and how to properly import 3D models that you have made in any other software. The first time you open up ZBrush, it might be a little overwhelming since you'll be looking at a bunch of different options and you won't have a clue how to get started, but that's okay. I've been there too, and honestly, it's not that complicated and it gets easier as you start getting used to it. So when you launch ZBrush, you'll be able to see this little window. It's called the Lightbox. You can turn it on and off from this button right here. You can use Lightbox to open up your ZBrush projects. Um, you can go to Recent tab and open up the recent projects that you've worked on. When you click Project, you can see all the default projects that ZBrush comes with. You can just like double tap any one of them and just check it out. Uh, when you click on Tool, you'll be able to see all the tools. You can double tap them and open them up as well. In your brush tab, obviously all your brushes are here in different folders. Similar brushes in one folder. That's how they packed it. In texture, you'll be able to see all your textures. And then in alpha, material noise, this is something that we will get to a little later. I just want to keep it super basic and simple for now. You can go ahead and just like click Lightbox and close this window. So the first thing that I personally do every time I launch ZBrush is go to Document, and here you can see this slider called Range. Just grab this and make it 0. That way you won't be able to see that ugly gradient. Some people like it, I really don't. It's a little annoying, so again, this is very uh, personal. If you want to keep it, you can keep it, but I like it to be on 0. Uh, so on the right side, you can see this little window called Tool. Let's just get to it in a little while. I'm going to double tap this divider and close that. So let's talk about the UI first. On the top of the screen, you can see there are like a bunch of tabs. There's an alpha, brushes tab, colors, documents, draw, dynamics, so on and so forth. Lightbox, as I mentioned before, um, you have a bunch of different options here that we will get to when we start sculpting something. You can control your color RGB intensity from this slider, and you can control your brush sensitivity from this slider. Now on the left side, you'll be able to see there's a brush called Standard, but I can't seem to click it. And that is because I need to have a model here, a tool here, and I have to be in edit mode in order to use my brush. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Under it, you can see stroke. These are different types of strokes that you can use while you're sculpting. Uh, these are different alphas that you can use, and there's a bunch of textures here. Now this is something that you will be using a lot. You can click it and it will open up a whole library of different materials. I honestly prefer to use just like the basic material because it's the most unforgiving. Any flaws in your model, you'll be able to see it really easily. That's all you need to know for now. Okay, so let's just start making something. If I click right now in this empty space, you can see this little 2.5D sculpting or sketching, whatever you want to call it, happening right now. I honestly don't know what this is for. I have no clue. I've been using ZBrush for a very long time and I have no clue what this is used for. So just if you by mistake move your mouse or your pen in this empty space when you launch ZBrush, don't be worried. You can just clear this out by pressing Control N on your keyboard and it will get rid of all that. Now on to the right side of the window, you can see there's an option for scroll, zoom, actual size, and anti-alias tab size. This is basically all the controls for your document. Basically, this is your document. If I hold down zoom, I drag my cursor up and down, you can see I can zoom in and out of my document, and I can scroll it, pan it, and I can click on the actual size to reset whatever size that is set by default. So when you go to the right side of the screen, you can see this divider that we double tapped a while ago to close it. You can double tap it again to open it up. This is your tool window. You'll be using this to load your tools, to save your tools, to import your models, your OBJs and FBX files. Just go right here and click on this tool. This little window will pop up. Pick any one of these. I'm going to pick a Sphere 3D. Okay, I've picked it, but nothing has happened. I need to draw it out in my screen. I did that by clicking and dragging on my tablet. If you have a mouse, that's okay. You can click and drag with your mouse and you'll be able to draw this sphere out. Now, I want to start working on it, but as you can see, when I try to move it, I can't. It's just making more spheres on top of it, and I'm a little confused as to what's happening right now. Okay, so if you run into this problem, just know that you're in the draw mode. On this top left of your screen, you can see there are two modes, draw and edit. So if you're in draw mode, you'll be able to draw out whatever tool that you have selected from here. Whatever tool that you have selected from here, you'll be able to draw this out, right? But in order to work on it, you need to be in edit mode. So once again, like I cleared my canvas before by hitting down Control N, I'll clear my canvas one more time, and I will drag my sphere out, and I will click Edit. The shortcut for that is T. So now that I'm in edit mode, I can move this. So the basic controls of navigating in this document is by simply clicking in the empty space, left mouse button, you'll be able to rotate this. And if you hold down Alt and you try to do the same, you'll be able to pan it, move it. And now for the scaling part. Scaling is a little complicated in ZBrush as compared to other 3D softwares. So in order to scale an object up and down, you can obviously use these buttons as well. You can see if you press F, it's going to fit whatever tool that you have selected, is going to fit it in the window. And you do that by pressing Frame or F on your keyboard. You can move this object by going here and just like moving it. You can zoom in and out. You can rotate it. Right. But obviously, once you're working on this model, you don't want to go back and forth just to move this, right? You need to do something way more efficient. That is a little complicated, like I said before. So in order to zoom in and out, if you don't want to use this button, in order to zoom in and out, what you need to do is when you're pressing down Alt and you're moving your mesh, all you need to do is release Alt, but keep on holding down the left mouse button. What that'll do is activate the scaling. So now you'll be able to scale it up and down. Once again, if you want to move it, press Alt in the empty space, just left click, and you can move it, right? If you want to scale it, just same thing, Alt, move, but release your Alt after you have clicked on your mouse. Just release your Alt and you'll be able to scale it up and down. One more thing, if your cursor is on your model, on your mesh, and you want to scale it up and down, you won't be able to do it with the left click button. You will need to use the right click button. So if you're in the empty space, it's the left click button. If your cursor is on top of the mesh, then it's the right click. Same thing, if you just hold on right click on your mouse or your pen tablet, you'll be able to rotate it. If you right click and Alt, you'll be able to move it. And if you right click, Alt, and release Alt, you'll be able to scale it. All right, so far so good. Awesome. Uh, The next thing that you would need to know is how to work on this sphere. Right now, this sphere is a primitive and you cannot really work on it. In order to start doing some changes, making some cool uh, sculpting detail on it, you need to make this model polymesh 3D. And you do that by going over here. There's an option called Make Polymesh 3D. Before you hit that, let me just show you. If you just try to even click on this model, it's going to give you an error. It's going to say it's a 3D primitive and you need to convert it to a Polymesh 3D. So I have selected this sphere. I'll go up here. I'll make Polymesh 3D. And now this is a Polymesh 3D. If you click right here on your subtool, you can see the name has changed. It was Sphere 3D first. Now it's PM3D, which is Polymesh 3D. So once it's Polymesh 3D, you can just like move your mouse on it, left mouse, and you can make all these cool details. Okay, if you want to import your OBJ files, you can click import and just like look for the file that you want, and you can open this up. And if you want to open up an FBX file, I believe they have added that feature here as well, that when you go here, yeah, you can add it. You can add FBX from here as well. Okay. So just FBX, OBJ, whatever you want, just go import and you can select that and open it up. Same thing for the export. If you're done with your tool, if you're done with making all the changes that you have that you wanted to, just go to export and you can save that in any format that you want. You can save it in the OBJ, you can save it in FBX. So now that you are in the edit mode, you can see that there are like a bunch of different options that were uh, that you couldn't click before, but now they're all available for you to click. The first one is the BPR. This is basically a button for taking out a quick render out of ZBrush. So just like click this, and depending on the light source, you'll get this little render. The shortcut for that is Shift R. Okay. So the other thing is perspective. You can click on it to activate perspective and click on it again to deactivate it. You can click on floor to activate your grid. The one more thing that you'll be using a lot is the polyframe. So when you click polyframe, you'll be able to see the mesh of your sphere, the wireframe, and the shortcut for that is Shift F. It's better if you learn all the shortcuts as soon as you can, because it's just really handy. You don't need to go here every now and then to click this. You can just press Shift F to activate and deactivate it. So that's it for this video. In the next one, we'll be talking about the brush tab. When you click on brush, you see all these different brushes. I'll let you know which brush is used for what kind of purpose, and 4 or 5 brushes that you'll be using most of the time. And I'll go in detail uh, what each of those brushes um, do, and how you can modify them to your liking. Uh, so yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.